Happy Thursday. Okay, I skipped last month's monthly memo because I've been dreaming about this for 2 months and I'm just so excited to bring this to you. So, we were setting up for Christmas and decorating everywhere and at home and here, and I started looking around and I decided, do you know what our arch nemesis, I can't even speak, our arch nemesis is right now, this time of year? Glitter. And honestly, for us who've worked for Janelle for kind of a while, it's kind of a nemesis all the time. And maybe we've become a little callous to it. We've become, I can't think of the word. We've become cold to it because it's just a way of life here. So for those of you who are new and don't know Janelle very well yet, glitter is just, Janelle is glitter. That is just what it is. But that's not the case everywhere. And so for a lot of offices, their Christmas decorations are covered in glitter because that's what everything is right now. And they decorate for Christmas and it's everywhere. And they take it down and it's everywhere. And we may find ourselves kind of just knocking our head against a wall going, I don't know how to clean up all this glitter. And for the most part, it's usually acceptable. If it's in the carpet and it's just going around on the floor on the carpet, it's not a big deal. But if it's on the desks, in the keyboards, stuck to men's suits, it's getting in their hair, you find a piece stuck to your face, not everybody loves that. Some people absolutely detest glitter. So we really need to do a good job of cleaning it up, at least the best we can. And it's not perfect and we'll never get every little piece of it, but I don't know. I just thought maybe I would give you some fun tips on how to get rid of the glitter. So we're gonna start with the 3 reasons that scientists think that glitter sticks to everything. And these are some fancy physicists that did some study, and there's no one right answer really. And who really knows? It's just glitter. But idea number 1, and I think understanding the thought process behind why it's sticking can help us deal with it, actually. That's usually the case in most situations with life, right? So case number 1 is static electricity, okay? Most glitter is covered in a teeny tiny, really thin layer of metal. And that metal is negatively charged. And so when it comes into contact with a surface that is positively charged, what do we get? We get a magnet, right? And so it's gonna wanna stick, static electricity, that's what that is. Theory number 1. Theory number 2 is called air viscosity, because we love big words, right? So all that's really telling you is that these little thin pieces of glitter that are flat hit a surface and all of the air ends up getting pressed out from underneath of it. Therefore, it is surrounded by air, and that air is actually, the air that's around it is what's holding it down, okay? So in order to get that piece of glitter up, you need to lift it to get the barrier removed from underneath. So it's kind of like if you get a piece of paper and it gets stuck to a window, it's not necessarily static electricity that's holding it there. Sometimes it's the air has been completely removed from underneath it, and so until you pick up a corner of it, and you let the air back underneath the paper, between the paper and the window or the paper and the surface, it's gonna wanna stick there, okay? Theory number 3 is surface tension, okay? That is when glitter is sticking like to your face or to a surface that might have some moisture on it, okay? So you have little bits of moisture on your skin. If you ever got a piece of glitter stuck to your face and it's really annoying you and you can't quite get it off, this is what it is. You have moisture on your skin, okay? Moisture is positively charged and you have the negatively charged glitter again. And voila, it's kind of like being a magnet, but it's surface tension what's causing it. It's the moisture on the surface that is actually causing the magnetism this time. So you can't deal with all 3 of those the same way, right? If it's just static, you just need to pick it up, okay? Because static is just holding it there. If it's the air viscosity, you need to create a way to remove it from the surface, because if it's perfectly flat, just running a rag over is not necessarily going to remove it. If it's surface tension, you need to actually use dry, because it's the moisture that's causing it to stick there. So adding more moisture is not going to be the solution. So, all right, you can't really tell because it doesn't show it on the video, but this desk is covered in glitter. I shook out a bunch of decorations and I covered everything in glitter. So this one you can see, these pieces of glitter, for the most part, are big, chunky, And so static is what's holding them down, if any of them. And so wiping it with a wet microfiber rag will do the trick, okay? Now, the problem you're gonna find is that as you wipe once, the glitter that is on the rag doesn't want to stick to the rag necessarily. And so as you wipe multiple times, it's going to come off your rag onto the next surface. So if you have an area that has a lot of glitter, you're going to likely use more than one rag. Okay? Same thing with my desk. Now, for those pieces of glitter that you think are sticking because of the surface tension, because maybe there is some moisture here, or even the air barrier has been removed, a microfiber is really good for this, but I would use a dry one, because what you're gonna do is you can create a charge where the static electricity wants to actually attract to the rag, okay? Now, I don't know, I've cleaned before, and that's what you find. So like when you're dry dusting a floor, you can create that static electricity. When I use my microfiber on my floor and I go in a figure 8 or a circle motion, you're actually attracting the dust to the microfiber, okay? So same thing here. So if you have glitter on a surface that just doesn't want to come up with the wet microfiber, just more circular motions. Again, not a foolproof, not 100%, but it's going to remove a lot more of it, okay? Then I went to my keyboard and just these little areas that it's like, oh, my calculator, this isn't gonna work. So I did a little bit of research, and they make this putty, this like gooey, slimy stuff that you just plop all over. But it's actually kind of expensive, and I thought if we buy 32 things of this and put them in every location, and then you use them on every keyboard, this may not be ideal. So actually, I went to my kids and I stole their Play-Doh. And I found that just taking some Play-Doh and pressing it onto your keyboard, that can remove really pretty much everything. It doesn't get down inside of the keyboard. Only that canned air can really do that. But this actually removes the dust. It removes all the little linty things, all the glitter, all of that stuff gets picked up. And it's a stick. It's causing it to stick to the Play-Doh. So if anybody got a crew message this morning that was a whole bunch of numbers and saw it before I managed to delete it, this is the culprit, because I was practicing with my Play-Doh. So this would be a really good use for in some of those hard to rub areas with the microfiber where you might not get it. Now, it would take a long time to do all of your offices, so I would really save this for, you know, areas where you really want the glitter cleaned up well. Okay, that's a good tip. Now I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to kind of turn you around, and we're going to go over and look at the carpet, because Janelle took the tree down yesterday and there's literally glitter everywhere over there, and the vacuum was acting up. So it's partially the vacuum's fault, but it's also just, that's what glitter does, is it sticks in the carpet. And so the one thing that I would highly recommend vacuuming is go over it 3 directions. Okay, so go over it back and forth one way. Then I would go perpendicular in the same area, just perpendicular. And then I would actually turn another 90 degrees and go the same way that you started, but from the other direction, okay? Because remember, your vacuum's different forward and backwards. The nap of your carpet, vacuum's different. My carpet at home, I can't get vacuum lines unless I vacuum it a certain way because of the nap, the way the carpet wants to lay. And the direction it's kind of adhered. So I would go at it 3 different directions at least and work to suck it up that way. Make sure your brush roll tips on your brush head are very good. The longer they are, the better. But again, if it's static electricity that's causing your problem, it's gonna pick it up, but it's gonna charge it then in the brush roll, and it's gonna lay it back down somewhere else. So this is a good time to get your hose out and suck it up with the hose the best you can as well. And then I'm going to show you something on the rug here. So this is an area that's kind of tough. And in a front entrance, a lot of times where they put their Christmas trees, I would really take a few minutes to do this, because I don't think it would take very long. But get this Play-Doh. And it's just going to pick up all of this stuff on the plastic on the edge, because honestly, the vacuum is going to have a really hard time getting that picked up. It's not impossible, but it's going to have a harder time just because of the location of it, because you have a heightened surface here, then you have the rubber, and then you have the carpet down here. So it's trying to go up. And so unless you can let your brush roll rest right on this area, it doesn't want to get it up. The suction's going to get some of it up, but it's going to want to stick. And so when you have a whole lot of it there, it just looks a little bit more tacky. Looks like it didn't get cleaned up from Christmas. And so it wouldn't be a bad idea to do this. So if you have an area in one of your locations that you would love some Play-Doh, Play-Doh is very cheap. We can go ahead and stock you up. Hopefully you learned something, and there's a few good tips. And as always, please send me messages and let me know if you have any better ideas or anything else that I can change. Otherwise, have a great day.